Hello and welcome to OTE Pro Day 2022. We have over 90 scouts, coaches, GMs in the building here live at OTE Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm your host for today, Alex Day, and I'm joined by Cold Hearts coach, Ryan Gomes. Coach, how are we doing?
I'm doing great, Alex. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm excited for today, and I want to ask you from the start, what is the importance of a pro day?
The importance of the pro day is for these OTE players to come out here and show a focus, show a determination, show a confidence, and a competitive nature in a smaller realm of basketball. Usually we see these guys going up and down so much playing, and that's how they scout them. But now you get to get an individual look at the guys' shooting mechanics, competitive nature, missing shots, how they react, how they're competing in every drill, how they're paying attention to the drills that they're doing. I think that's what gets jotted down a lot in this pro day. Absolutely.
So here's how it's going to work. The guys are broken up in individual groups. Groups 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Two groups will go at a time, and to start, groups 1 and 2 will go. And in those two groups are Bryce, John Ed, Amen, Jazian, Eli, Tudor, Kanan Carlisle, and Bryson Warren. So, you know, these are some guys you've coached, but, you know, you see these guys every day in practice. And you know, how do you prep these guys for what a pro day is like? Because it's kind of similar to a practice, but obviously the stakes are much higher.
Yeah, the stakes are a little bit higher, and then your mental capacity, you have to know that. But also, the more you could calm the mind down and say, hey, I made these shots when no one was watching. I did these drills when it was fans in the stands, not these general managers and these coaches. I think the guys who can put that in their mind and go out there and perform at that level will be more even-keeled, more calm, and not have a little tense actions sometimes on the court.
Were you tense during your pro day?
Yes, I was, and I try to just tell myself, you know, make the next shot or make the next play my best play. And I think when these guys, if they put that in their mind, then everything will go smoothly, and they'll think about this like this was their best pro day, and still got to go out and compete tomorrow and the next day.
Yeah, so, you know, we're about to see a lot of these individual drills, and a lot of these drills are things that you guys work on in practice. What are some of the individual drills that we're going to see during this portion of the pro day?
Well, with this group right here, we'll have a lot of guards. We have a lot of point guards and shooting and guys who are going to shoot off the dribble. So there'll be a lot of drills with them passing as point guards, also shooting as shooting guards, and then also playmaking ability and skill set of finishing at the rim. So you'll see a lot of that, and everyone has a different skill set to them. So we'll be seeing a lot of this and a lot of different things. We have a Thompson, who's 6'7" at the point guard. We have a John Ed Walker, who's about 5'9" at the point guard. We have Jazian Gorman, who can play point guard or shooting guard, and he's about 6'2", 6'3". So Eli Ellis shoots the ball. Kanan Carlisle, pure point guard. Bryson Warren, another shooting point guard. So you'll see a little bit of aspects of what they do well, and then also be in environments where they have to show some other things.
Absolutely. So the guys just introduce themselves to all the scouts, GMs here in the building, and we are getting ready to go. You know, you see one group here on one side of the floor, as well as Coach Kevin Ollie, and then guys warming up on the other side of the floor. You see Eli Ellis, Kanan Carlisle. I'm excited for this. Last weekend, opening night, powered by GMC, was electric, and you know, we're getting two back-to-back big events here at OTE.
Yeah, you know, this is the place where we're seeing how these guys can go ahead and show their love and passion for this game of basketball and competitive nature. We've seen over the week, over the late week last with the GMC event, playing those events and how electric it was in this building. And then we go down to this and showing these guys what they do differently in their individual aspect, not in the game format. So you're getting scouted over here on both ways, individually and also in team concepts. But the energy in this building is always high ever since last season.
You see guys warming up off the dribble right now, working on jumpers, working with coaches on just basic ball handling here, and we're going to get going in a couple minutes. Let's listen into Coach Cooper here, who's mic'd up for us.
Get to a spot, B. Get to a spot, B. Good
Coach, what have you liked so far from your squad, the Cold Hearts, as we're waiting to start?
I like the leadership that I'm having from our two guards, which is Bryce Griggs and John Ed Walker. Mixed in with Tyler Smith, who's been playing tremendously, especially on the defensive end. I think he's been electrifying for us, just guarding people and making big plays for us when we need it. So We just have a lot of grit. We have a lot of determination in our team. You know, even looking at our last game we played, for those who didn't see, when we played against the Boozer twins, and we were down a lot of points going into halftime, and we were able to fight back and dig deep and go ahead and pull out that win. It just showed a lot of relentlessness about our team, and hopefully we bring that for the rest of the season because we showed we did it early in the year.
Step up screen.
Bryce Griggs, for me, is a guy that is a difference maker for a team. When you get to work with him on a daily basis, what do you see from him on a daily basis that makes him stand out, that makes him different?
He's so intellectually smart at that point guard position, finding guys where they need to for lobs, corner threes, and just for guys streaking down the lane. But he also is a big-time gamer. I mean, I think when it gets late in the shot clock, when he gets late in the game, that's when he thrives the most. And that's when what I've noticed since last year's first year, he made big shot after big shot and big game after big game for when he was playing with Elite and led them to a championship.
What about Yaned?
Yaned, you know, what he does and but his team was in the finals as well last year, and he was, you know, arguably fighting for the MVP even though they lost in the finals. But, you know, he just has a heart of gold, and, you know, he competes to the last second. If you look at that last game we played, he got a steal with 3 seconds to go and was able, he just trapped. He felt like he could go get it. He trapped the guy, power forward coming off, got a steal, and hit the game-winning basket. He had a lot of those plays last year as well. So I feel like with the cohorts, we have two of the most dynamic guards who finish games and make big plays when needed.
You know, we're watching Bryce here go through his drills and his ability with the ball in his hands. He seems like a floor general, and you need that from your guards. Is there just 100% trust with either of these guys with the ball in their hands?
Yes, it is. You know, with Bryce Griggs, he's especially, like I said, when he's with players who he knows what their roles are and they do their roles exceptionally well, he knows he's going to get the guys the shots where they need to be efficient and effective at. Same thing with Yaned. He's so crafty, so low on pick and rolls. He competes when he gets switched on. When guys think they have a mismatch versus him, that's when he has a mismatch and kind of gets steals. So, you know, these guys do exceptional things well at that position, but they're different players at the same time.
All right, so we need to talk about Amen Thompson here because he's projected to be a lottery pick. Does he have anything to prove today? Because, you know, we've seen the game film on him. We know what kind of athlete he is. What does he need to prove here today?
I don't think it's anything he needs to prove. You know, he plays with such a high IQ and determination out there that it's nothing that he has to prove. He just has to go out there and show that his technique and his consistency is going to stay the same, and that he's going to go ahead and he's going to make shots, which he has been doing already this season. But they know his intriguing thing, I think, is his height, and he could control the team and run a team being 6'7".
And I want to pivot over here. Well, we just saw Jay Gord shooting threes. Now we have Bryce Griggs. Back to Amen for a second. What's the one thing that you guys have been working with him on in this offseason preparing for year 2 of OTE? Because he's a pretty complete player.
Yeah, he's a pretty complete player. You're exactly. He plays the game the right way. He does all things. He rebounds, he steals, he blocks shots, he gets assists, he makes pull-ups, he finishes well above the rim in the paint, which is one of his dynamic traits. I think what he's been working on, well, I know what we've been working on a lot is his shooting off the catch when he doesn't have the ball, and also when guys going under screens, being able to shoot that pull-up. And we've seen in his game so far, when guys go under, he's shooting at three.
Yeah, we see him shooting here, going around the horn. That's Jay Gord on your screen right now.
Let's go. Come on. Give me the ball. Short pass. Let's go. Ready to shoot. Let's go.
As you can see, he's going around the horn now. We're watching the men. He's knocking shots down, showing that he's going to be catch-shoot because he draws so much attention in the pick and roll. When he gives up the ball, sometimes the point guard is the one who gets the shot at the end.
Let's go, John Ed. Right to it, John Ed. Way to shoot our man, boy.
Finishes with a swish.
Get him up. Right.
All right, so if you were on the floor talking to John Ed as he's going through these drills 3 here, can you walk me through it?
Well, yeah, right now we're going around, the guys are going around the horn getting 2 shots at each spot around the 3-point line. This is really what guys do in the NBA, pretty much kind of in the beginning, but more likely at the end, and you're trying to make, 70 to 80% of your shots. So if you don't, you keep going around. But it's just a rhythm thing that, I'm pretty sure the likes of Steph Curry and all these point guards who shoot the ball do these drills every day.
All right, so we got reject.
Shooting is a fundamental trait that you have to continually do every day on a daily basis.
It's a muscle. Now, I want to talk a little bit more about Jay Gord, projected second-round guy. What does he need to prove here today? to show that he belongs in the conversation for even first rounder or more of a very serious NBA pick.
I think for Jay Gordon, you can see his, how long his arms is and how quick his feet are and how athletic he is. And I think the challenge, not the challenge, the thing that they're going to be looking at is when he's playing defense, how he's defending. Because he has quick foot speed, but also at the next level, at this position at the point guard, you're going to have the ball in your hands a lot. And just imagine if you're going to have it, your opponent, who your guard is going to have it. So whoever has that stamina and that will and can use their natural ability to kind of make the job tougher on the opponent will win that battle. I think that's what guys are going to be looking at, his defensive, because his attributes, he has the longest arms out of any of the guards we have here, and he could guard multiple positions as well besides Amin Thompson, who's already 6'7".
Good job.
That wingspan.
Yeah, of course. I mean, anyone who's talked to Jay Gort, knows how funny he is, how charismatic he is. How big of a part of his game is that where he's a leader on the floor, on the court, on the bench? He really has those captain qualities to him.
Yeah, he's a very emotional player. He's a very energetic and lead by example type of player. And when he gets emotional and he's involved in the game, 6-0 run, 10-0 run, 2 blocks, a charge, you're going to feel his presence. You're going to feel his energy, whether you're the opponent coaching against him or playing against him. And if you're on his team, it's just infectious. So he does have that trait about him that can be wonderful and being a leader at the next level.
I want to pivot a little bit to Bryson Warren. He stated that his goal is to really get on more people's draft boards, and he's looking to take that big next step. What does he need to do to reach that goal?
Well, with him, he's one of our pure shooters in this program. I think probably the best three-point shooter we have, off the catch, off the dribble, multiple ways of shooting that ball. And at this stage in the NBA and at the professional level, that's the ultimate trait you need to have. So for him, it's also now, I think, being a point guard. We played him a lot at the 2 last year, being a shooting guard, because he has such a dynamic shooting ability. Now putting the ball in his hands, letting him go ahead and create some of those mismatches due to his shooting ability, I think is the next evolution for him.
Tori, you can set these.
He put the ball in his hands
Make
to
sure
be a
you
point
just
guard
pass it right
at
back,
some
so you'll
moments
be
in the
right
game
over here, actually.
while still being a 2 guard.
So step up. So you're coming off right here. Boom, shot. And then you'll flip it.
I want to pivot
He's coming
Eli
off right
Ellis.
there. 4
Now,
shots. Here we go, Eli.
he
Here we go,
is
Eli.
the youngest player here.
Good work,
He was the last
shots,
pick in the OTE draft, and all he's done since
we got one coming,
during
got one coming,
preseason
good.
play has impressed. Tell me about his game, what
Good,
you like
again,
from
again,
it,
two
what
more,
you guys
two
are
more,
working
two
with
more,
him.
Well, one thing about Eli, I told him in the beginning, it's not where you start, it's where you finish. It doesn't, you're in the draft. Some guys get selected last pick in the NBA draft, but they're still and still playing. So one thing about him is he has a motor about him. He has a toughness about him that I think stands out more than anything when anybody comes to watch Eli Ellis play. So, with him being one of the youngest guys here as well, just shows that he's going to even keep climbing the mountain even higher and higher, because he started out like this, and his determination is going to get him to where he wants to be. Great shooter, great size, very physical when he plays. So I like Eli Ellis. I think here, Sean, that they're getting a look at him early, but it's a long time before he's going to become available.
There's one guy who he really reminds me of, and it's Peyton Pritchard. You look at these guards who are just always around the ball. They are hounding the ball at all times. On the offensive, even on the offensive side, the ball is going through them. On the defensive side, they're hounding the ball handler. Do you like that comparison?
Yeah.
Do you think that's the kind of player he is, or of course you guys are building him into much more of a full package?
I think that's spot on right there, because if you look at Pritchard and what he's done when he was at Oregon, and when you look what he's done when he got in the NBA, he's still that bulldog type of player. He's going to guard people, whoever he needs to. He's not afraid to get his hands dirty and guard taller or other players. And he's also got offensive skills and offensive scoring power that people might underestimate. So that's the same with Eli. I think his eyes open up a lot of people here at OTE, but when we played against him last year, especially myself, I know what he was capable of doing, as well as his younger brother.
Yeah, he's class of 2026, and he's only 6 feet tall, but you look at him, he's stocky. He's built, and he uses that to his advantage.
Yes, he does. Super competitor.
Take a look at some pull-up threes from the top of the key. That's Bryson Warren at the top of your key, number 30.
Now right here, they're just showing in the high pick and roll situation, type of shots you get if the guys are not playing good defense on you. You got to be able to come off and make those shots, and at least shoot those shots to let the defense know you're not going to let them just go ahead and keep backing up off you. So same thing on this wing. We got Eli coming off. Now we got Luke talking a little bit with Bryce and Warren about those shots and what these guys are looking at.
There's another guy that I want to talk about, Kanan Carlisle. Everyone around here calls him K9. For me, he was one of the most impressive players of OTE opening night. Tell me about his game and that bulldog mentality he brings on both sides of the floor.
Oh, yeah. Now, he's another one of these guys that's up there in our shooting for guards. If you're looking at him right now, he has a great pull-up off the pick and roll. But defensively, I think what people don't understand about Kanan is he guards people 94 feet. He has that type of athletic ability, that grit that he's going to pick up, and he can you know, stop people. Also, athleticism is key with him. So he has this long-range jumper, but he also, once he go ahead and splits the pick and roll and gets in that paint, he can go upstairs and finish athletically over people. So Kanan Carlisle is another player to be on the lookout for in the coming future.
And he's committed to Stanford too, so that's just a testament to where he's at in his development right now.
Yes.
Yeah, the Dreamers had a slow opening night, but he was really a highlight for them, and he stood out every time he was on the floor, taking the ball to the rack and also pulling up.
Yeah, great formation on the shot, great elevation on the shot. I think you know, Kanan Carlisle, like I said, as far as the way he plays and how he has change of speed, is a high quality point guard who can do a little bit of both, play either way, shooting or attacking.
You're watching K9, as they call him right now, at the top of the key. It's a nice stroke. And a couple in and outs, too.
Everything online. And we got Bryce and Warren.
Eli, one step back. You got 3 of them. Last thing we got, 3 deep ones. 3 deep ones, fellas. Get your hips into it. There you go, Eli. Get your hips into it.
We have just about 1 minute left of groups 1 and 2. Coach, really appreciate you swinging by.
No problem at all, Alex.
Good luck the rest of the season. We have Coach Fanning swinging by next for groups 3 and 4. Those will be highlighted by TJ Tez, ZZ, Trey, Nas, Asar, and Jakai. So a lot more coming up here. Coach Gomes, appreciate it.
No problem.
Free throws. Shoot one. Good work, fellas. Really good. Rotate one of them.
Each guy taking 1 free throw here. We have Luke Cooper mic'd up.
All right, here we go. Come here. Hey, incredible job. Make sure we hydrate, stay relaxed, but like be ready to roll, because next thing y'all got is 4-on-4. You have like a 45-minute break. Okay, so talk to Marcus, talk to Sean, do whatever you need to do to be ready to roll. Great start, baby. Great start. Let's go. Someone break us off. Who's got us?
Hard work on 3. Watch him 3.
Hard work. Great work, fellas.
Welcome back to OTE Pro Day. I'm now joined by Coach Tim Fanning. Coach, how are we doing?
Doing well.
Appreciate you joining us in the booth. This is an exciting day here.
Yeah, it's good. It's off to a good start.
So, off the bat, I was just talking to Coach Gomes about this too. Talking about the importance of Pro Day and what that means for not only OTE as a program, but these kids.
Yeah, I think for these guys, it's an opportunity for scouts and decision makers just to become more familiar with the players and their game and some of their personalities and their energy. So it's an important opportunity.
What were some of the conversations you had with your guys leading into OTE Pro Day? Because this type of event is more mental than physical, if anything.
Yeah, it was just a lot of conversations about kind of body language and energy and how the guys respond to if they miss a couple shots and that kind of stuff. So I think that's one of the biggest things, why somebody goes into the building to see a player as opposed to watching stuff on film is to pick up on some of those just kind of very specific, kind of intangible details that a player has or doesn't have. So just kind of having those type of conversations with guys, both, you know, in our teams and also individually, of just like, we hope you make 100 out of 100 shots. But, you know, if you have that stretch where you're not going that well, like, that's a really important moment to stay locked in, stay engaged, and that kind of stuff. And not just because it's pro day, just because, like, that's the correct way to approach tough moments. It's just to keep going, man. Just keep trying to put your best foot forward. And so we're trying to get our guys to do that stuff every day, and especially on a day like today where you got a lot of eyes on you. It's an opportunity just to demonstrate some of that stuff that hopefully our guys are working on day in and day out here.
What's your favorite part of pro day?
My favorite part of pro day. I just love, honestly, the focus of the players. It's a good opportunity to, as a reference point in later workouts, of like, you need to bring it now because you can't just turn it on and off. And so I think that especially some of our guys that have been here now for the second year and have gone through this, I would say I've definitely seen an improvement just in their workouts day to day as this point of reference being available.
One guy I want to talk about right off the jump here is Asar Thompson. Now, we just watched the men, but Asar, obviously a projected lottery pick, one of the top players in his draft class. What kind of things does he, I don't want to say need to prove, but you'd like to see from him today that could help his draft stock?
Next one's you. That's tough.
I mean, Asar, he does so many different things on the basketball court. So he just needs to be himself, man, and come out here. And he's got a great work ethic. So I think that's going to shine through. And just showing his versatility, man. He's a guy that can do a lot of different stuff on the court. So, this is more of a skills section. He's got to show, his versatility in that area. And then when we start competing,
first thing we got,
just showing all the different stuff he can do. He defends well, he rebounds well. He's a guy that can play multiple positions.
Handling it as soon as he goes to reach,
so just
downhill,
for
go
all these guys,
first
it's just about just be yourself, man. Just be yourself. Come out here, play hard, which is what you should be doing every day. And Asar's no different there. But he's a really good kid, and I know he's excited for today, and to continue to show what what he can do on a basketball court.
Now, a lot of people have been comparing him to Jalen Green, obviously all-pro, amazing player on the Celtics. What do you think of that comparison when you watch Jalen's game and then you watch Asar's game?
Jalen Brown?
Yes. What did I say?
You said Jalen Green.
I said Jalen Green?
You said Jalen Green. You can check the tape, man.
Wrong color. Wrong color.
Yeah, me confused a little bit. Yeah, he's another versatile wing player. So I think there's definitely similarities there. Asar's he's tough to compare to because he does so many different things. Like during the summer, going to Spain and Serbia, he saw some time in practices and in games, like playing point guard. And he can do, he can organize it. He's just a very versatile player, similar to Jalen Brown, similar to a lot of different guys. So I'm very hesitant to make those kind of one-to-one comparisons, just because I think each player is so unique. But he's definitely has some similarities there. And I would say one thing that both those guys do is they get after it defensively.
Yeah,
I know that's something that Asar really hangs his hat on, is just being able to lock people up. And both those guys do that.
Now, one guy that you've coached for the past 2 years, TJ Clark. What is it like coaching him, and what are you expecting to see here today during his pro day?
TJ is an absolute pleasure to have on your team, and he's a guy that, as a coach, it gives me confidence going into games, going into battle, to have somebody like that, because he just plays the game the right way. He plays with so much intensity and passion. He loves to play defense, takes pride in his defense, and he's been working really, really hard on his jump shot. And I think that, I'm hoping that will shine through, whether that's today or in 3 months. But he's a guy, it's been a pleasure to coach him. I'm really excited about this season and just kind of going through another year with him. And yeah, TJ's fantastic competitive spirit.
It seems like he's really one of the leaders of your YNG Dreamers squad.
Yeah, he just leads by example, really. He just comes out, and I remember the first day I met TJ we were at Core 4 because this building hadn't been built yet. And And I remember him picking up full court. He was one of the few guys that, like, without us saying anything, like first day, you know, of open run, he's just like got his nose in somebody's chest. And I was like, hey, you know, TJ, that was nice, man. You guard 94 feet. And he was like, Coach, just so you know, I'm doing that every day. And so that's something that I always kind of joke with him. If anybody's got too much room, I'll ask him, like, TJ, man, what's up? And he'll be like, no, Coach, it's happening. It's today, too. Like, it's 94 feet. If it with me, I'm going to play defense 94 feet. And that's something that maybe some guys say, and he's lived up to that. You know, I've known him now, been with him very closely for more than a year. And he's a guy that picks up 94 feet. And I think that his best basketball is definitely in front of him. And like I said, he's a guy that just in the locker room, he gets along with everybody. And I have zero worries about how he's going to play the game or how he's going to compete in practice. He loves to compete. He loves to work hard. And, yeah, I'm a big TJ Clark fan.
Yeah, so we're getting to see him on the floor, but let's learn a little bit more about TJ off the court.
My name is TJ Clark. I'm a guard, play for YNG Dreamers. I would describe my game as high energy. I have a very defensive team. You know, we're very skillful, but we play with a lot of energy. We play with a lot of effort, so I feel like we're just hard workers, underrated. My mom would describe me as focused, independent, you know, just going to get what I want, going to get what I think I deserve. My go-to artist is easily Lil Baby. My favorite person I follow on TikTok, YNG Dreamers. You should definitely follow me on TikTok at TheysWantTJ.
Coach, I want to pivot to another guy, Nas Cunningham. He's new to OTE, one of the top players in the country, one of the top players at OTE. What do you think his ceiling can be? Especially coming, you know, someone who's new to the OTE program, comes from New Jersey.
Yeah, I think, you know, as you said, he's a very talented player. He's a dynamic scorer. He can score with the ball in his hands. He's had some nice, you know, he moves really well off the ball. That was something that really surprised me. Just his kind of, he's got a really high IQ on the offensive end. And he's a dynamic offensive player. I think, you know, similar to a lot of these guys in their first year here, they're used to being the best player on the court and sometimes just getting by on talent. And now being here surrounded by a lot of other really talented guys, it's been interesting to see him take on the challenge of just going harder. And it's been something that in the first month I've seen him really embrace that challenge, which is very important for these guys that do have like high aspirations to play professional basketball. Is that it's going to be a grind. You got to go out there and compete, and he's embraced that. And so I think as long as he continues to do that, I think the sky is the limit because he has so much natural talent and he wants to be a good player. He's, you know, he tells me, Tim, like, push me. I know I need to work harder. I know I need to go harder in practice. And he wants to do that. And so I think the future is definitely bright for Nasir.
You said natural ability, and his athleticism is apparent. Just watch him for 1 minute. The pro comparison, I know you hate pro comparisons, but the one we hear a lot is Zach LaVine. Do you see that level of explosiveness, athleticism, similarities in their games?
Yeah. Definitely in the athleticism, kind of moves smooth, and then all of a sudden just explodes and is then above the rim, dunking the ball. I definitely see that comparison. And I say natural ability, and that's probably not the most accurate because I know that he's put a lot of work in. I know that he's a guy that he likes to get in the gym. He likes to work, and obviously shooting a jump shot like how he shoots it, that takes work, and he likes to work.
Now, another newcomer I want to talk about is Jakai Howard. You see him shooting around the horn here. What do you like about his game?
Man, he's another guy. He's got a good feel for the game, and he's a multifaceted player on the perimeter. He can play with the ball in his hands. He's extremely dangerous in transition, which we've seen so far and we'll continue to see. And he's another guy that I think he wants to be good. And this is the first time, you know, for these first-year players of coming into an environment where all of a sudden you're not the best player hands down on the court. And so, you know, I think he's embracing that challenge as well in terms of just being more consistent, bringing it every day. But another guy, you know, not so dissimilar to Nas in terms of super talented player, can shoot, above the rim finisher, great athlete. And now, you know, in this type of environment, we're hoping we can help these guys raise their game to the next level. And Jakai's fits in that category.
Now we're seeing Jakai shoot around the horn here. Let's learn a little bit more about Jakai off the court.
My name is Jakai Howard. I'm from Boston, Mass. I play for City Reapers, and I'm every position. I describe my game as showtime.
Showtime! Jakai! Oh my goodness! Yo, he can actually fly.
Because, you know, I'm always running, always jumping, never really tired. I think I was 13, 12 when I hit my growth spurt. If I was an NBA GM, my first pick would be a men. I feel like we're going to have a very good year, you know, beat a lot of teams, you know, develop very well with each other, get a good chemistry. Showtime!
I want to pivot to one of Jakai's teammates, actually, Tudor Semescu. You know, he's really impressed me just watching, as you see him on the screen here. He's impressed me so far during this drill. He's impressed me every time I've watched him. What do you like about his game?
I just love, he's got a great mentality. He's another guy that, you know, coming from Europe, I think he has a little bit of an advantage there in terms of he was playing professional basketball at 14 or 15 years old. So he has this experience of playing with guys that are much better than him and understanding how to do some of the intangibles and how important it is to come to practice with the right mindset. And he's a guy that has great vision. He's a really fantastic passer. And he's a good shooter from the perimeter. So he's a multi-fast, you know, he's a guy that's just good, makes good decisions, man. He's a good decision maker, shoots the ball well, gets his teammates involved.
Finish it.
And as I said, he's got a good head on his shoulders. So I think that
Work on your pace a little bit, all right?
I think that Tudor's going to play basketball a long time. I don't know if that's going to be in the NBA or back over in Europe or wherever, but he's a pleasure to have at OTE, and I know Dave will be excited to have him on his team this year, as RG was last year. And he had a good summer with the Romanian national team. They had a chance to play in Romania. And if I'm not mistaken, he was maybe the captain of that team playing up. So he's a guy that just, he plays the game the right way. And that's Tudor, man. Got a lot of love for Tudor.
Ball, right there. I got you.
All right, we got to talk about ZZ Clark here. Now, tell me about his ceiling, what you've liked from his game so far this year, and what you want to see a little bit more of.
I just love how competitive he is. He comes in and he really loves to compete. Likes to play defense, and he's a good guard. Like, makes good decisions in pick and roll. Got to continue to work on his jump shot. But I think that, you know, he's a guy that's got eligibility, so he's going to go to, you know, university after this, and I think he's going to have a good experience there. But I love ZZ. The thing that stood out to me, though, just the first days meeting him and watching him play, was how hard he played. I really, really respect that, and I think that that's really important for anyone trying to make a career in professional sports, of just understanding how important it is to come into the gym every day and get it done.
Let's learn a little bit more about ZZ. We're seeing him shoot around here, but let's learn a little bit more about him.
My name is Zakai Clark. I'm a point guard from California. I play for Cold Hearts. I would describe my game as just getting everybody involved and just being a good teammate to all my guys. I feel like us, the Cold Hearts, we got the best team by far. If I was an NBA GM, I'd pick up Bryce Griggs or Janet. If I had to pick a championship, a finals MVP, or a regular season MVP, I'd choose regular season MVP. That means I did it for the whole year.
Yeah, we see ZZ here. This is his first pro day. Now, ZZ's 6'2", 195. He's from LA. First pro day can definitely be some nerves, though.
Yeah, for sure. I think just this gym, first couple times in this gym can be nerve-wracking for these guys. And then add on top of that you got, like, however many, was it 70, 80 NBA scouts and executives. I can only imagine their nerves. But I think he's handling it well. I think the boys are handling it well. And at the end of the day, it's just about coming out here and trying to do your best. And I think that all these guys are locked in on doing that.
Coach, we really appreciate your time up here. This has been great hearing from you.
Yeah.
Good luck. Good luck the rest of the season.
Hey, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
All right.
We will be coming back for groups 5 and 6 with Coach Lato, so stand by as we see some last threes getting put up here.
Way to work, fellas. Way to work, way to work, way to work. We're down here. First down. Yeah, this is gone. Yeah, see all three? Hey, let's move and be quick, man. Move and be quick. I thought I was, but they up here now. You should be back up again. I'm up right now? Yeah, you should be down there. Allison, okay. You go there? Yep. We're down here. If you want to. Hey, Tyler Bay, where you going? Yeah, we right here. We need one more ball. Yeah, you down here, Malik.
Welcome back to OTE Pro Day. I'm your host, Alex Day, live from OTE Arena in Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm joined by Coach Lato. Coach, how are we doing?
I'm doing great, Alex. How about yourself?
Doing great. I'm doing great. This is an awesome day.
Absolutely.
Off the bat, what's the importance of a pro day for not just OTE, but these kids?
Well, it's a physical and an emotional audition, and understand that at a young age and what it can do. Each and every time you go out there on the court, whether the scouts are here or not, is an opportunity to get better. And this is just a showcase of the growth of your game, both physically and especially emotionally.
You can hear the guys introducing themselves at center court right now.
Draft class 2024.
Tyler Bay, draft class 2024.
Jalen Martin, draft class 2023.
Bryson Tiller, draft class 2026.
Malik Bowman, draft class of 2024.
All right, and as we get things going, Coach, I want to ask you, what are some of the conversations you had with certain kids, whether on your team or on other teams that you had leading into today?
Well, some of the guys that have been here before have repetitive conversations, and then the new guys, it's understanding to play to your strengths. To work hard. Obviously, we talk about that every day, to play to your strengths. Try not to do things to impress, but to do things that are comfortable for your game. Don't over dribble. Pass when you're supposed to. From the naked eye, sometimes you feel like you need to press and make something happen. But from the guys taking the notes, they look at all the small things. Can you reverse the ball? Can you talk? Can you sprint? All those things that you don't normally see in the course of a game when you're just watching.
So there's one guy who I want to talk about first, Malik Bowman.
Yeah.
Looks completely different from last year to this year. He's on your team.
Yeah.
What is it like coaching him? What have you liked about his game?
Well, first and foremost, he's a joy to be around. Always in a good mood, always positive. He looks at the game the right way. And as you mentioned, Alex, from last year to this year, he's transformed his game. He used to think, hey, I've got to improve by being a ball handler and taking these fadeaways and all the things that were not conducive to his game. And I think what he's done is simplify himself and worked real hard at balance. The shots that he takes, whether they're jump shots, three-pointers, or off the dribble, for the most part, they're all balanced. And then taking advantage of his natural God-given size. He's a physical specimen, explosive, and putting his shoulder into people, and then using his athletic ability to score over the top of a lot of people. So he's really come out of the gate for my team and for an OTE, or from an OTE perspective, really, really well.
6'8", 228 in the draft class of 2024. That's a big young man right there.
And a guy that's versatile, so because of that size you mentioned, he can battle, inside of 15 feet with some people. He can tangle. Then he has a skill level that's always improving, so he'll be able to play beyond 20 to 25 feet as well. And for a guy that way, the way the game is played now, having that versatility just adds to his assets.
Now, you work with him on a daily basis. What's the number one thing that you're working with him on taking this game to the next level?
To utilize his God-given strengths.
Yeah.
I always simplify it. When you're on offense and you make a move against a defender, based on his strength and his physical prowess, that guy should move backwards, which creates the kind of space that you need to make your next play. And if you're on defense and somebody's trying to do that to you, they should take a step backwards, or you should not go anywhere because you have natural given strength. To get to a spot, to create that space, and then to make your play. And then with his athleticism, he can easily score over the top of a defender. So that's what we're trying to impress on him on a day-to-day basis.
I want to keep it with the City Reapers, Tyler Bay. Tell me about his game. He came to OTE because he's seen the growth of some other OTE players, guys like Don Barlow, and he wants to be that next great OTE player.
Yeah.
What have you seen from his game?
Well, my conversations with him are locked into what he came here for, as you mentioned, to play against the best and to become better as a result. He's a quiet guy on our team, both verbally and with his game. He's athletic, but he does it in a quiet way. Obviously, with the other guys that we have, the Thompson twins and Santos Surreal, those guys can show their athleticism, as we've already seen. But he's been very quiet with his. And everybody needs a guy like that knows, one, how to fit in, and then two, sometimes knows how to stand out. I think he's figured that out in an early stage and will only grow in that role.
Yeah, we see him going through these drills. A lot of explosivity there. He's 6'8", 173. So, that's a player who has good athleticism, a good build, and you can see really just adding to that by the day.
Yeah, and for a lot of the guys, particularly the younger guys that have just gotten here, the transformation that they'll make in 12 months from a physicality standpoint, their strength and conditioning, to see where he's at right now, 175, and I'm not into the numbers, but to say, let's say 10 or 12 pounds of muscle will increase his ability to do what he wants to do and can do on the floor, but it'll also, again, emotionally give him the kind of confidence that will allow his game to grow.
I want to pivot to a guy on the Cold Hearts, Tyler Smith, 6'10", 214. What have you seen from his game so far this year?
It's funny you bring his name up because he was a topic of conversation this morning, and a guy that's really gotten better, and he's different. One, because the maturity level is there. He's been here a year. Not only is he more comfortable with himself, but he's more comfortable with what he can do on the floor, simplifying his game. There aren't that many guys 6'10", 6'11" that can shoot, especially left-handed. So finding that proper space behind the line or at mid-range, or particularly at the rim, is something I think he's grown with. And then to use his athleticism to get to spots and grow in his game, to be a pick-and-roll offensive and defensive player, where they set the screen to find an open spot. All those things have become a lot clearer in how he displays his athletic ability.
Now, you mentioned the height and the shooting, especially as a lefty. A player comparison you hear around this building, Chris Bosh. Obviously, that's a lofty comparison expectation, but you look at their skill sets pretty similar. Do you like that comparison?
Absolutely. What people don't realize, Chris Bosh that we saw with the Miami Heat later on in his career was a byproduct of Chris Bosh in high school and that 1 year at Georgia Tech. That's about where Tyler is that, he's still a high school guy age-wise, and he's kind of, more than anything, still maturing. In comparison to the other guys, he's a little bit behind. So he's understanding what's going on. Is still at a growth and development stage, but I think it's a great comparison, obviously, because they're both left-handed and they can both shoot. But I think when we make those comparisons, it's understanding where Chris Bosh was and where Tyler is compared to where Chris Bosh was as a 27, 28-year-old.
Yeah, to see guys that big being a catch and shoot threat and having the ability to take it to the rack, especially as he gets bigger, that's a dual threat.
Yeah. I mean, the NBA is about spreading the court and spacing and be able to make shots. And he is a guy at that size that is a great advantage, because your backcourt guys do that understandably, where they come on the court and they have to be able to shoot the ball. To have a guy that can stretch the floor at that size and the guy that has to try to guard him is a unique advantage that he'll have.
I want to keep it with the Cold Hearts. Bryson Tiller is a guy that's impressed a lot of people so far this season in the building. Class of 2026, he's one of the youngest guys here. What's his ceiling? Because it seems like there's a lot of buzz here around him.
Yeah, so early on, I made the joke that he is one of, it's not even really a joke, one of the most mature guys here, to be one of the youngest. You saw, he said it's the 2026 draft class, and we're currently in 2022, so he has a lot of time to grow. But off the court especially, he understands and has an awareness of his surroundings and the people there. As it relates to basketball, he doesn't play quite like them at all, but one of the things that Chris Middleton is a very quiet superstar. When you talk about all the elite players in the NBA, his name will almost never come up. That's kind of the comparison, not as a player, but as a game and person that Bryson is. Now, you may not notice all the things he does, and he plays much better in structure than he does
Hey,
in
roll on
open
the
gym and
first
those
one.
kind of
On the
things.
pitch back, second
So
one
you
pop.
might miss some things that he does really, really well. But those are the things that experts know that you need to have to be really, really good. And I think to come here with his size, you know, his length, his long arms, big hands, broad shoulders, that's only going to help him as he grows and gets better.
You know, for a young guy, how important is it for him to be in a pro day? You know, we just talked about he's class of 2026. It's only 2022. How beneficial is it, not just for him, but also for the scouts, so they can see his improvement year over year?
Yeah, so the NBA has turned itself into a very, very young league. You know, you have Houston and teams, Oklahoma City, that have revamped themselves to become young so that they can be a direct result of the teaching and coaching that you get at the NBA level, particularly for young guys. And so he's a guy, you know, as a 2026 right now would be his 10th grade year, that they can start making marks on and start a resume for him. So now next year and the year after and the year after that, you start putting it together and you can physically see how his growth has gone from one year to the next.
Over 90 scouts, GMs, execs in the building here at OTE Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. Unbelievable experience for all these players.
Oh yeah. Yeah, good recovery.
And the flush.
Ball.
The thing that stands out from being on the court and seeing it up close and personal is I'm most impressed about their work ethic. I mean, these guys are going hard. Obviously, they have a reason to because, as you mentioned, there's 90 sets of eyes on them. But at the same point in time, understanding the pace which is necessary to get better on a day-to-day basis.
Coach, I want to talk a little bit about Alex Sarr. Now, young guy, comes from overseas. Tell me about his game and what his ceiling can be.
Well, you know, coming over from Real Madrid, you know, understanding in Europe the kind of reputation that he had established for himself was critically important to us, and getting him here. The fact that he has basketball pedigree and his older brother Olivier playing in the NBA and being successful in college. So his foundation is really, really good. You know, one of the check marks for me is always what kind of young man these guys are, and he's, you know, a 10 out of 10 in that category. He's a sponge to soak up. And then, you know, again, as the game is played today, have a stretch five, a guy that can shoot from the perimeter.
7'1".
Yeah, and make not only shots, but make moves as a perimeter guy is really, really enticing. As he goes, and he's a guy that like I mentioned before, physically he's grown in 1 year. He's still thin, he's still got to get stronger, but he's dedicated to getting that portion of his body a whole lot better so that he can do things that the NBA craves around the basket, protect the rim, shot block, rebound his position, but yet it's very, very hard to be a pick and pop five in the NBA in terms of the defensive ability to stop a guy like that. So having that ability, almost like Lopez in Milwaukee, is a great asset for him.
Yeah, even just during this pro day, you can really see all of his dimensions on display. You see that pick and pop ability with his three-point shot. You see the explosivity going to the rack. I mean, I know he missed that dunk there, but the fact that at 7'1", he's moving like that and attempting dunks like that just speaks on his athletic ability. He's a unicorn.
Exactly, and to operate at 7'1", almost like what you see a guy do at 6'6", is very unique. Not just from a shooting standpoint, but his mobility to go right to left and left to right, to go vertical and second jump, those kind of things, a little bit unnatural for a guy his size. And so given that he has those blessings and the work ethic and the mindset to go beyond it, I've told him, you know, set your sights as high as you could possibly imagine, and you'll end up in a really, really good place.
Let's listen in on Coach Frazier down on the floor.
Come on, Malik, give me one. I can't see shit, y'all. Like, I know I'm live, but I can't see nothing. Lights. Let's go. What do you got? 3 every spot? All right. We good, we good. All right, one of y'all take the passing, because I can't see nothing over there. Then I can't see nothing over here either. We good, stay. You good, stay. Yes. Don't worry about it. All bounce passes to the passer.
And you see Jalen Martin shooting at the top of the key. Coach Frazier
Right there,
having
T.
trouble with the
taking
lights
the top,
in the OTE
baby.
arena.
You're anointed.
Can't blame him. It is a spectacle out here with the bright lights. But what do you like about Jalen's game as you see him shoot from 3 here?
Like a lot of these guys, maturity. You know, we were as coaches and skill development guys talking last summer where his balance was not really good.
Let's go.
As a result, his consistency wasn't there. The guy that can shoot and he thinks he can shoot, that would miss a lot of shots just because of the structure, you know, not having a great foundation base. I think he's really, really bought into that. So as a result, his percentage is going up, his confidence is going through the roof. And a guy that can, almost like in baseball, is a 5'2" player. You know, he can handle it, he can shoot it. He's athletic enough, he can defend, he can pass.
We good. Next one,
do
next
a lot
one.
of different things to help
Next one.
any and every team
Stay
in that way.
Shot. Don't run
and I
out.
think he's understood that, and as a result, his confidence has grown and grown.
You heard Coach Leto just say five-tool player
Come
there.
on.
Let's learn a little bit more about him off the court.
I'm Jalen Martin. I play shooting guard for the YNG Dreamers. I feel like we definitely have the best team out of the 3 teams. And I feel like we're definitely the most skilled too out of everybody. I would describe my game as like a shooter, like a slasher, just like an all-around scorer. I hit my growth spurt at age 13. I went from like 5'11" to like 6'3". If I was an NBA GM, my first pick would be Giannis. My favorite person I follow on TikTok is probably strictly basketball. I got a TikTok. I don't really post much, but you still follow me. It's Jalen Amir 5.
As we wrap up groups 5 and 6, Coach, I want to thank you for your time coming up here in the booth. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. It was great to watch opening night last week, and good luck the rest of the way.
Okay, thank you very much, Alex. Pleasure having you.
Appreciate it. And we will be right back with Kevin Ollie.
Come on, that's all right. Hey, good work, fellas. Hey, good work, man. Hey, good effort. Good work, good work. Good work, fellas. Listen, hey, man, tremendous effort today. Y'all did a good job today, man. Proud of y'all. Good work. Let's go. OTE on 3. 1, 2, 3. Good work, fellas. All right, here we go. All right, let's get to it. Short tips. Let's go. Where are you passing from? Okay, so. Let's do that. So we go short intro passes, and then we go right to pick and roll, catch a fish, and then we get to some action, and Lord, and then we'll go from there. Everything. Yeah. So what we'll do is ball screen passes, and then I might call a screen and rescreen, but I want to stay away from no pitch. Everything's at the rim. We can shoot free throws. Will be our shooting. I'll give them one if they're moving well. We'll give them one. Let's go, gentlemen. Let's go. 2 and 2. Let's go. Hurry up. 2 and 2, just like we practiced it. 2 and 2. Who's up? Ryan, you up first. You go. You got it. Rebound right here, Tor. Yep. Let's go. Get him up. Come on. Next spot. Let's go. Got 7 spots. 7 shots. Let's go. Come on. Good. Let's go 5. Next spot. 3. It's good. You good. Come on. 4. Next one. Let's go. John, you up. Let's go. You got 5 spots. Let's go. Tori, rebound in front. Tori, rebound in front. Good. Let's go. You got it. Let's go. Good. Get him up, John. Let's go. Come on. One more. Toe. It's you. Let's go. Jump high and drop it in. Drop high. There you go. Come on. We good. Good. Oh, Lord. We doing it right today, baby. We good today, baby. Let's go, J-Dub. Let's go. Come on. We up. Same thing. Ryan, you right here with me. Right here. Come on.
Dad, coming in off the block. What Tita's got you right here. Hit, boom, middle finish. Middle finish. I got you. Good.
Let's go.
Good, Nate. Good, Nate. Good, Nate.
Hey!
You all right? Baseline next, baseline next. Hey, hit baseline, hit baseline, hit, get baseline. Good. Come on, better hit, better hit, better hit. Good, good, good. Come on, hit baseline, hit, go baseline. Good, give me one more. Top the key, pivot, pivot, pivot. Yeah. Well, Tina, you be here? So you'll have the balls every time? DHO. So he's gonna hit you, you're going DHO with Matt, or with, yeah.
And welcome back to OTE Pro Day, live from OTE Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm your host, Alex Day, alongside now Coach Kevin Ollie.
How you doing, Alex? Good to see you.
You're putting in work out there. You're working up a sweat.
That's the only way you can do it. If you're telling them to do it, you got to do it yourself, and you got to live your message. That's what I do every time.
Yeah, this is your pro day too.
I'm trying to get a 10-day. All the money they're giving the NBA players these days, I should come out of retirement.
Hey, I don't blame you at all. Let's think back. Actually, what was your pro day like?
I didn't have a pro day.
You didn't have
I didn't have a pro day. I had to go out, get it through the mud. You know, I went through the CBA route, which is kind of equivalent to the G League now. And that was my pro day in the CBA, going against guards each and every day and just working out and working harder than my potential each and every day.
What does a pro day like this mean, not just for OTE, but for these young men?
It's just great exposure. You're not going to get this anywhere in the world to have. I think we have 80 representatives of NBA teams, pro teams, agents. So it's just to showcase the talent that you have, but also showcase the things you've been doing in the unseen hours when nobody's watching. Hopefully that comes out and transfer in a moment of truth when everybody's watching. And that's what we try to teach our guys.
What are some of the things that you've liked most from year one to year two of OTE?
It's just the energy, the vision. You know, our vision is to maximize their talent and their potential by giving them the skills and the knowledge. So if we can retain that knowledge and transfer it over into the games, I mean, that's what it's all about. And then it's also about being a great man. And I think these guys are understanding the challenge, what it takes to be a pro, and that's every day.
What are some of the conversations you've had with these players leading up to Pro Day? Because Pro Day is as much mental as it is physical.
Yeah, it is. And like we really teach mindfulness athletes. We always teach the mindfulness athlete, and you got to understand them emotions that goes into this. But, hey, it's not pressure. It's an opportunity. And you get an opportunity to display all the things that you've been doing, working out on that practice court, coming back at midnight and things like that. And now you can get out here and display the talent. That's what it's all about. And it's also about being an elite teammate. They want to see you encourage your teammates.
I want to talk about a newcomer here, Samto Sorrell.
Yes.
What do you think his ceiling can be, and what have you liked from him so far here at OTE?
First and foremost, he's an intimidator. He knows he's a big, and he plays with that force. He plays with that power. And one thing I love about him, he communicates on the defensive end, on the offensive end. He's starting to understand our system, but he finishes with power. And right on cue.
With the honey dip on cue.
Yeah,
and it's
Vince Carter.
It's so easy to talk about his defense because who would want to go down the lane with him waiting there? But then you see him on the offensive end, seeing a big man like that do that. That is outrageous. Vince Carter-esque.
That's awesome right there. And just a great young man, too. Great young man.
So Samto is 6'10". He's from Nigeria, and here's actually a little bit more on Samto.
My name is Samto Chukwushiro. I'm from Nigeria. To be honest, being in this position at this moment right now is so surreal to me because in a lifetime, 1 out of 100 people make it out. So I'm just lost in the moment and at the same time grateful. I want like 10 years from now, people look back and be like, I got his card. Basketball has changed my life, taken me to like so many places. My goal is to get to the NBA, not just to get there. My goal is to like stay in the NBA, make a name for myself, like create a legacy, and also inspire people.
I want to keep it on the City Reapers. Ryan Bewley, he was an OTE champion last year. You know, pretty versatile forward, and I really liked what I saw from him in opening night last week. What kind of work has he been putting in between years 1 and 2 of OTE?
I mean, just his focus, being a playmaker on the defensive end, getting deflections, getting steals, putting pressure on the rim, being able to catch and finish in traffic. And then he's lengthening out his range on his jump shot, which I love, and being a versatile player. So you can have the inside, we call it the reader position, but then focusing on hitting that elbow jumper, even bringing it out to the 3 sometimes. So I like his evolution as a basketball player, but once again, he's a great man. And that's what we love, too, about Ryan. And he's a winner.
When you see him develop a shot like that, you know, from the elbow, if he can bring it out to the 3, what can that do for his ceiling on the offensive end?
You know, it's all about shooting when you get to that next level.
Always.
And they want spacing. You know, they don't want cloggers, they want spacers. And if he can do that and really be a reliable shooter, that will open up a lot of opportunities for him to play at the next level. But his bread and butter got to be being a defensive stopper, being a rim runner, putting pressure on the rim, and being a great screen setter. Every team needs that, and doing the dirty stuff.
You just saw Ryan flush it home there. Let's learn a little bit more about Ryan off the court.
My name is Ryan Bewley from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I play forward for City Reapers for Overtime Elite. My teammates describe me as funny, but when we're on the court, serious. Describe my game as a hard worker, rebound, run the floor. The age I hit my growth spurt was like 7th, 8th grade. I went to like 6'3" to 6'7". My go-to artist is Brent Fayez. Go-to song for Brent Fayez. All mine.
I want to keep it with the Bewley brothers here. Matt Bewley. Now, both these young men were the first 2 guys to sign with OTE, and clearly reaping the benefits. What about his game have you liked so far?
Just developing, being a complete basketball player, being able to handle the basketball, because you know, on screen and rolls, when they trap and they throw it to the big on a slow roll, you got to become the point guard. And I think his decision making has got much better from year 1 to year 2. He's always been a enforcer, rocking the rim each and every time he can get it, but expanding his game just like Ryan. You got to be a spacer in the NBA, and you got to be able to knock down shots as well.
You know, we don't want to compare brothers, twins, siblings, but we can't help ourselves. What are some of the similarities, some of the differences in both guys?
Yeah, both guys are energy players, EGBs. We call them energy generating behaviors. Both of them guys have that.
Say that one word, EGB?
EGBs, energy
I like that.
generating
I like
behavior.
that. I want people to call me that.
Yeah, that got nothing to do with the ball shooting. That's running the court in 6 seconds. That's offensive rebound, defensive rebounding, and we want them to hang their hats on that. You know, Matt is a more vocal leader than Ryan. Ryan kind of does it behind the scenes and is a leader, you know, from behind the scenes. But Matt is out there out front. He's with the Cold Hearts. He's trying to represent, and I think he's doing a great job. And both of them are really expanding their games to different areas on the basketball court and being a playmaker on the offense and defensive end.
Now, Matt actually played with Team USA in the offseason. How does playing with the national team benefit him here at OTE?
I mean, I think it benefits him for a great things. You know, first you be playing for your country. That's a wonderful thing. A lot of people can't say that. And playing for your country, how USA basketball, they always talk about doing the dirty things and also, you know, playing hard and playing team basketball. And I think he's bringing that back over to our group and to our league. It's about a team. It's not about an individual.
And also, having players play for Team USA, that looks pretty good for OTE,
That looks great for OTE. We had Bryson Tiller down there. We had Matt down there. Tyler Smith went down there. We had Kanan Carlisle down there. So we was well represented, OTE.
Always. We see Matt going through these drills. Let's learn a little bit more about Matt off the floor.
I'm Matt Bewley. I play for the Cold Hearts, and I play power forward. I'll describe my game as very dominant, fearless, a competitor, every play, a high motor. My mother would describe me as being loving, caring, and her firstborn. Hey, Mom. My favorite artist is NBA Youngboy and / Brent Fayez. My teacher would describe me as a goofball, but I also get my work done. My favorite person on TikTok right now is myself. And Trey Parker.
Welcome back to OTE Pro Day. We are at OTE Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. Hey, I want to pivot actually here to the big man, Ja Jackson. Now, he's really transformed his body, which I think in part has transformed his game. What has that been like since he's come into the building at OTE?
It's about being in condition, you know, to run up and down the basketball court. A lot of things that he's seen in the first year was they putting him in pick and rolls. Now his agility, his footwork, his condition is better to handle all the pick and rolls that come his way, and then running the court, punishing somebody that's playing behind him in the post. And I think he's doing that amazingly. His touch has always been good for being that big and having that great touch. We want to continue to have him involved on that. But his big key is getting in shape, and I think he's done a great job at that. We call it level 5, and I think he's going to have a fantastic year 2.
Now, what kind of time and effort have these coaches, you know, you think of like Coach Frazier, have worked with guys like Ja on their game since they got to OTE?
I mean, it's an everyday quest. You know, it's not one day we're not in the gym. And that's not only in the gym being physically, that's the gym being mentally as well. Watching film with the guys. We got a platform called Lucio, which is teaching our guys basketball decision training. And that's been great for their mental, because talent's going to fail you sooner or later. You got to have the other parts of the game, elite teammate, encourager, being a part of the team, having a winning attitude and effort. And I think we've been doing that great, and that's part of skill development.
Good, there you go. Yeah, let's listen to Coach Frazier right now, actually.
Let's go, come on. Same thing. Good. Come on, Sumpto. Finish. Good. Let's go, come on. Good, Jay. Good, let's go. Come on. Good, there you go, Ja. Good action, Ja. That's all right, Ja wanted like that. We'll take it. All right, Ryan, we right here, post up. Got the ball. Ryan is posting up, catching the ball right here. Turn, rip, baseline, go. All right, let's go. Come on, catch. Turn, rip, good, baseline, let's go. Run in here, Sumpto. Don't run me over, though. Let's go, good. Rip, finish. Sumpto, throw that one away, all right? I want something more aggressive than that. Let's go, finish it. Let's go. Got you. Rip. Let's go. Ryan, you're going to fake it. Come back middle. Let's go. Fake the baseline. Good. Come on, finish. Get to the basket, Ryan. Fake it. Good. Come on, finish. Let's go. Good. Sumpto, finish. Let's go. Sit down.
You know, Coach Frazier says he wants a little more aggression on the finish from Sumpto, and then the next one he shakes the rim.
Good job. Come on, Ja. Good. Free throw, fellas. Good work. Let's go. Come on. Let's go. Free throw. Let's go.
Would you have your money on Sumpto being the first one to shatter a backboard here at OTE?
Him and Ja.
Spread out.
Ja, definitely bringing down the extension for Ja like Shaq did back in the day.
Of course. You know, looking at both of those guys, their presence on the defensive end, you know, of course they're incredibly gifted on the offensive end, but seeing those two guys in the paint has to be just, you know, pretty fearful for offenses and weapons.
Yeah, definitely, especially when you're putting pressure, because we got some outstanding guards. If you're setting great screens and then you're rolling, you're putting pressure on the defense.
Hey, do you feel like
we have some great shooters, so if they start doing that and Jaden Williams and getting offensive rebounds and defensive rebounds, we're going to be hard to beat.
I want to talk about one of Ja's teammates, Ethan Almanza. He's looked great since he's got here. He had a great summer playing overseas. What have you seen since he's gotten to OTE?
Oh, it's the same thing. It's just evolving as a basketball player and as a man. And to have MVPs of 17 under and 18 under shows the work that he's been putting in, the fundamentals, not being bored with the basics, mastering the fundamentals in the unseen hours. He's an everyday player, and he's a coach's dream. He's so coachable.
The fact that he won 2 MVPs in one summer playing for Spain is pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
You see groups 7 and 8 wrapping it up right now.
At this point, in 5 minutes, we'll go from these individual workouts to 4v4. So we'll have some competition.
So after this, we will be breaking out into half court 4-on-4. I'm excited for this because, you know, we see a lot of these individual drills, but, you know, these are basketball players. These guys want to play in free flow.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah,
you got to do the drills to help you in free flow, but this is where guys can really show off.
Yeah, this is what it's all about. You know, you can do the skill works and the cones and all that stuff, but you play with teammates, and you play against elite defenders. So how do you space the court? How do you involve your teammates and all those different things is what it's all about, and that's what they're about to showcase now. It's going to be 4v4v4, and then we're going to go to 5v5.
You took the question out of my mouth there, but I want to ask you about 4-on-4. Tell me about how that's going to work and the rotation.
Well, we'll have two teams going offense and defense, and then we'll have a defensive team on the other end of the court, and then it's make it, take it. So if you run seven offensive possessions and you score, you get the highlights, you get the sunshine. So that's what it's all about, but it put a premium on getting stops too, which is the most important thing.
Yeah, normally, you know, you make it, you take it, you get to pound your chest once or twice, but now it's more, hey, you get more run on the court
You get more run on the
with
court.
90 front office members, scouts, execs watching you, and you know that means more than pounding your chest after keeping it a couple times.
Right, yeah, it's amazing, and we're gonna see them get up and down, and then 5v5 shows the spacing, all the different things they're learning. It's gonna be great. Our coaches are assembling their teams right now, going over their strategy, how they're going to do on the offense and defensive end. And this is what it's all about. And every one of our teams run different systems, which is great. Last year we was running all the same systems because we had 26 players that we didn't know, and then we didn't have this beautiful building. But now we have this building. They're having their own identity as a team, which is great.
And Coach Ali mentioned there the 5-on-5. Make sure to check that out later on the OTE channel. Take a look at beautiful OTE Arena. Hey, there's us in the corner, right next to the O right there. We're waving. You can't see us, though. Hey, there we are. What's up? What's up?
Throw up the O.
Throw up the O. There we go. There we go. So, you know, for people who want to make it to the next level, who are maybe watching, what can they do to find themselves at an OTE, at, you know, playing Division I basketball? What are one or two things that you'd recommend to young players who are watching?
Be a complete basketball player. Be able to play defense and offense. Be coachable. Don't come in there acting like you know it all. Be a great teammate and play with energy. Play with energy every time, because it's not about making and taking shots. It's about, can you be an everyday player? Can you be consistent on an offensive, defensive end, so that coach know that he can trust you no matter in the start of the game or at the end of the game.
Yeah, there is an intensity to OTE that, you know, these guys are competitive, and there's a lot of one-upping each other, which is good. It's healthy, and that's what you want. Coach Ali, I appreciate you swinging by here. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And I'll catch up with you later in the season.
All right, keep that energy going.
Of course, EGB, baby.
Level 5.
Level 5.
Oh, don't talk about. It's already 2 o'clock. That's great. Man. Who, me?
Welcome back to OTE Pro Day. We are live at OTE Arena in Atlanta. I'm your host, Alex Day, and I'm joined by the GM of OTE, Damian Wilkins. How we doing?
Good, good. Exciting times right now. Seeing our guys get out here, compete, work hard, and in front of people who are making decisions about their lifelong dreams.
So we just watched the individual drills portion of Pro Day. We have 4-on-4 coming up now. Damian, I want to ask you, what is the importance for Pro Day, not just for OTE, but for these young players?
And I've talked to our guys about this leading up to this day, understanding that all these people here that's watching them, they already know all the things that they can't do, right? And no one's going to ask them to come up here and do something that they haven't done a million times over their lifetime. So just to have fun with it. Have fun, play hard, compete. You know, those are the most important things that people want to see. So, you know, we'll just keep doing that, keep grinding, getting better, showing your improvement, how you've improved from the first year to the second year, from the last time they seen you till now. So I'm excited for our guys.
So you see the format here. It is make it, take it. So Cold Hearts got the bucket on the offensive end. Now then they go to the other end, and here they are back playing against some of the City Reapers. So I want to ask you, Tyler Smith had a strong showing in the first Pro Day. What have you liked about not just his Pro Day today, but his season so far as a whole and the work he's put in the offseason?
Tyler Smith is special, man. I think he's, to me, like, and I'll say it, he's like probably our most skilled guy here when you look at like all the things that he can do, his size, his length. He can handle the ball, he can shoot the ball. You know, he hadn't even scratched the surface on being able to post up yet. You know, and once he get that into his package, he's just going to be lethal offensively. I think he has to get more aggressive. I would like to see him shoot the ball more. I would like to see him, you know, look for scoring opportunities even more, and just overall be meaner. But he has all the tools to be a great pro.
I want to ask you some questions about Pro Day in general. First of all, what was your Pro Day like? Because I'm guessing it didn't look quite like this.
That was a long time ago. It definitely didn't look like this. We didn't have a live stream. Didn't have many people watching us like this with our staff and, you know, the parents and all of that stuff. It was real intimate. But, you know, the format remains the same. You go out there and you show your skills. You know, you do some one-on-ones, some 4-on-4, some 3-on-3, and you get into 5-on-5 and just show the things that you can do. It's like a showcase.
You know, for people who aren't as close to OTE, what kind of not just access, but what kind of things does OTE provide young men like this who are looking to take their games to the next level?
Just accelerated training, player development, you know, person development. You know, I think we encompass it all. We have a great academic team who works with our guys every day, not only on academics from an emotional standpoint. Our health and performance staff is second to none. We have great experience and from our coaching staff. Just all around, we have a staff of people here that's invested in helping these guys become elite young men. You know, and then now that we have the scholarship option, it's just gave more opportunities for us to go out and recruit different guys that give them more options. So I think we encompass everything.
You know, season 1 of OTE was a huge success. There's no other way around it. Huge success. But I know there are a lot of big things on the horizon for OTE. And, you know, we saw opening night powered by GMC last week. It was an amazing time. A lot of cool people in the building. What are some of the things you're most looking forward to for season 2?
I'm just looking forward to really just seeing the work that our players, well, seeing how the work that our players have put in, you know, now transforms to another season, right? You want to see guys get better every day. You want to see the product on the floor be better than it was last year. You want to see the competition level go to the new heights. You want to see focus go to new heights. You know, I'm excited. You know, top to bottom, I think we're way more talented than we were last year. And we have 30 guys that all deserve playing time. All can get on the floor and command a lot of minutes. So just excited about the overall big picture of OTE and where we're headed.
So the first 2 players to ever sign to OTE were the Buleys. What do you like about their game, and how do you think them being the first 2 guys to sign to OTE has been beneficial for them?
I just think, like, overall they have just great energy, leadership qualities. Matt, in particular, has great leadership qualities with his voice. I tell him all the time to find his voice, find his leadership, because people listen to him. Ryan is a guy who just goes out there and gives it his all the time. He plays, with great intention. He's a great teammate. He's a hard worker. And those are the things that we want from all of our guys. And they certainly lead the way.
Both those guys are working on their range, their shooting. How important is that to their ceilings?
Very important, especially in today's game. You gotta make jump shots. You gotta make shots. So doing the best that we can to help them with that development. As we see Jay Lou go down right here. Make sure he's okay.
There we go, he's up. One of the things that people are talking most about with OTE, Thompson twins.
Yeah.
They're electric, and they've caught the attention of really everybody who pays attention to, not just high school basketball, but NBA and the basketball world. How exciting is that for OTE, and what do you think their ceilings can be?
They're special. They're special, man. Those guys, they do it all. They come in every day. They're everyday guys. They work hard. They know their weaknesses. They're not afraid to work on their weaknesses. And they're not afraid to admit their weaknesses. And that's where a lot of it starts. They play as hard as they can. They give it their all. And at 6'7", 6'6", 6'7", with their length, size, it's amazing how good they are defensively. On the ball, they're probably two of our best defensive players. And they take great respect in themselves and their game for their defensive ability. And I love that. I love that they compete on the defensive end as well as bring it on the offensive end.
They're both such complete players, but you can't help but talk about the athleticism when they get ahead of steam and they're flying through the paint.
Yeah, it's special, man. I swear, I think sometimes I tell them all the time, like, they get bored when they jump. It's like they've been jumping so high for so long and been so athletically gifted for so long that it's almost like boring to them to have that athletic ability. But they do things once they get in the paint and once they get in the air that, like, you just don't see a lot. And that's special.
There are a lot of middle school, high school players who are watching this right now and thinking, hey, damn, I want to be at OTE. What would you say is one or two things that really every player should focus on to take their game to the next level and hopefully find themselves at a place like OTE?
Enjoying the journey. You got to embrace the journey. You got to focus on getting better every day. Ignore all the outside noise. Run your race, right? Like, run your race. And just be patient with yourself. It's an everyday thing. Just focus on getting 1% better every day. Just the little and the little things. And then the thing that a lot of guys don't do, watch film. Watch film on yourself. Don't just focus on your highlight tape. Watch the games that you didn't play so well and how you can get better at it. Those are the things right there that help you get better, the extra things.
How does film differentiate from player to player?
It doesn't lie. That's one way.
Nice pass there.
Yeah, great pass.
Carlisle. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, great pass. The film doesn't lie, right? Like, the film tells you everything you need to know. And if you study it the right way, you know the things that you're good at, you know the things that you're not so good at, you can get to the gym and work on those things.
Opening night, K9 Carlisle. I keep wanting to, everyone calls him K9. His name is Kanan Carlisle. He was one of the most impressive players to me, and we see him doing it on both ends right now for the Dreamers.
Man. He is something else. Another guy like the Twins, he reminds me, he has a lot of their disposition in that he plays both ends so hard and so well, right? Like, he challenges you on the defensive end. He puts a lot of pressure on you with his aggression on the offensive end. Hard worker, dog mentality type guy. One of my favorite players here that we have.
5, 4, 3,
Bewley with the ball.
2, 1. Let's go, Blue. Let's go, Blue. Shoot that first one, Jay.
Just wrapping up on Carlisle, going to Stanford next year. How has that option opened up doors for other players to come to OTE?
Get back. Good help, Jay.
Now, like, people aren't so afraid anymore
He with us.
of OTE and
Good shot, baby. Good
your
shot,
lack
man.
of college eligibility. You got options. You can take your scholarship path, pretty much remain in an accelerated development program, just as if you were in high school. You'll never get this type of competition against.
Check it up, up top.
In high school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you'll never play against this type of talent. So now it's like, it's a win-win.
Can we get some basic reps?
Like, I challenge anyone to tell me what is the downside to it.
Absolutely. Hey, Cold Hearts here. One of my favorite players at OTE, Bryce Griggs. Obviously a huge brand off the court, but on the court, really impressive. What have you seen from year 1 to year 2 that you've liked, including the fact that he looks completely different too?
Oh, looks way different. He just worked over the summer, turned himself into, just got in the best shape that he can get in. And came back, I didn't even recognize him.
I didn't either.
Like when I first saw him after the summer, I didn't recognize him. And now seeing him how he is, his body's changed, his mind is different. He's a lot more focused and locked in. He's working as hard as I've seen him work before. I knew he wasn't a stranger to hard work anyway. But now he's turned himself into a complete guard and giving himself, quite frankly, a chance to play professional basketball.
You think back to season 1 of OT, and one of the highlights was that game-winning shot he hit earlier in the year. And then you think of how far he's come even since then. Could be a dangerous player.
Bryce is special. He has all the tools.
Get one right here.
The ball handling skills, just to be able to get wherever he want to get to on the court. To score in multiple ways.
Stay down.
Has some things to work on, and he knows that, and he's doing those things. But I think it all started with his body and his focus. And right now, he's second to none in that regard.
That's Jalen Martin hitting there from behind the arc. What do you liked about Jalen Martin?
Just how smart he is. Super smart, great teammate.
Oh! And the
Good
finish.
Pass. Good pass.
And the finish, Ethan Almanza.
Super smart, great teammate, hard worker, can do it on both ends. 3-and-D type of guy. Just an overall, just a great guy to have around on your team in your locker room. It's not enough good things I can say about him, man. That kid he's one of a kind.
And, we saw Almanza with the finish there. Talk a little bit about some of these great European players we have here at OTE.
Yeah, Nate, Ethan, Alex Sarr. These guys are two-door. All of those guys are special in their own right.
And at the buzzer.
Tyler Smith.
Smith.
Ethan obviously had a great summer. Winning back-to-back MVPs in FIBA. Nate has come back improved. Two-doors come back. He looks totally different and much more confident. Alex Sarr is just a unicorn, man. 7-foot, perimeter player. Like, you just don't find those type of players all over the place.
And you guys went to Europe over the summer too, right?
Europe over the summer, yeah.
How was that?
High-level, elevated competition. It was great for them. They competed well, played well, and I think it was good for them. They got better, realized the things that they need to get better at and work on before, transitioning into bigger, better, and more professional basketball. So I think it was a good outing for our guys.
Learn each other, fellas.
Looked like fun too.
Let's go.
Yeah, like a lot of fun.
I was watching. I was keeping up with it all on OT socials, and like, wow, they're at a soccer game today. Then they're playing a pro team overseas the next day, and what a trip for them.
Again, benefits of OTE.
Benefits of OTE.
Yeah. I thought we were all. Yeah.
No, I'm talking about the players.
Yeah.
They know the players.
So we ramp up the 4-on-4 again here. There are a lot of brand names here at OTE. The Thompson twins to start with, Bryce Griggs. Who are one or two guys that you feel aren't getting enough attention, enough respect in the basketball community here at OTE that people need to keep their eye on?
I think people need to keep their eyes on Jazion Gordon, him, Jalen Martin, Ethan Almanza. Jaden Williams has come a long way since the first day we saw him till now. Bryson Tiller is an absolute pro. Right now, like he's a pro. Kanan Carlisle, I can shoot. Eli Ellis, guy that just goes out every day, plays hard, competes, changes the scope of games whenever he's out there. Just we have a host of guys, man, a number of guys who I can put into that bucket. Those are the ones that come to mind right away, though.
What do you like most about Jay Gord's game?
Just how crafty he is. He's crafty, he plays hard, plays with energy, plays with, also plays with personality. When he's out there and he's playing hard and just, when he's out there playing hard, look at that strong move by Jalen Martin. When he's out there playing hard and getting after it on the defensive end, we don't have a better guard than him. It's just a matter of him being locked in all the time, every game. And he's done a great job of that this year. We're trying to get him to be more consistent with that moving forward.
Yeah, he was a standout player, even just in opening. I mean, of course, season 1, but opening night last week, he impressed me a lot. Oh, and the deep three, just like he drew it up.
Right on cue.
Just like he drew it up. Hey, that is a perfect ending for us. Damien, I appreciate you swinging by the booth.
Thank you.
This has been great.
And
that is it for us. Appreciate all 90 scouts, execs, coaches that are in the building. It's been a special day here at OTE Arena. Thanks for you guys for watching Pro Day 2022. Make sure to subscribe to the channel because, hey, we've got part 2 of Pro Day dropping later tonight. Shout out to everyone watching, everyone in the building. I'm Alex Day signing off. See you later. Peace.